Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Awashai Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, and to those few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And I heard about this thing with this cyber attack on Colonial Pipeline, on the Colonial Pipeline, and we're in the last moments of the last days, and with many other things like this, like as with many other things, we start really searching the facts and what's going on. It all seems very suspect, extremely suspect. And then I always make the statements about how E loves to use events that cannot be fact checked or he doesn't have to provide the proof for. And then they'll take those events and then they'll make earth-changing moves with it. But no proof was ever provided for it. And they love and within this new age of technology with communication, they can do that. So a cyber attack is one of the easiest things that they can use to change policy or make something happen in their favor. All right. So not saying that this didn't happen, just saying that it's very suspect. As you're going to listen to, I'm going to play the 3-minute, almost 4-minute clip of Dabu 7 before it's all over. But I want to just grab a couple scriptures and talk about prophecy before I do. And we're going to start in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, and start in verse 1, and it reads, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, uproars of the people in this world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning." All right, so the Lord has been, Yahweh has been declaring the end since the beginning through the mouth of his prophets, out the gates. And one thing that E and the heathens, and especially people involved in Christianism, for the most part, at least the ones who have the loudest voices that are on like television and things of that nature, they completely ignore and do not talk about prophecy. All right. And I was watching a video earlier with the elder apostle Tahar, and he was talking about how many times the word conspiracy is in the Bible, and it's in there quite a few times. And there's a book that's floating around, and the book is called see if I can get the name of that book. Just waiting for these images to pop up. Okay. Hiding the Hebrews. Did America kidnap the lost tribes of Israel? Kindle edition. All right. And it's very interesting when you start reading the what's written here. It says, "Are the tribes of Israel really lost, or are they hidden in the prophecies of Psalms 83?" All right. And it poses this question. It says, the Bible seems to indicate, and it doesn't seem to, it does. It indicates a multinational conspiracy to hide Israel, to wipe out the memory of who they really are. And that's in Psalms 83. And it names them by race, those nationalities, the multinational organization, which was headed up by the Edomites. Amalek and Edom is mentioned twice Amalek are your Jewish today, and then of course Edom being the rest of the pale Edomites, the ones that are not, of other races because of their father's bloodline. Right? You got to remember, there's a lot of intermixing going on. Just because someone looks so-called Caucasian doesn't mean that they are. All right? We see examples of that all the time. Of people experiencing different forms of racism, and they look pale, and then and then it turned out that they have a Negro father. So, but nevertheless, that is a very legitimate question, and it's very, very true. So in order to be a Christian, you'd have to believe that actually happened to the Israelites, and it did. And guess what? That never happened to the Israelis. Never. Because according to them, they've always known who they are, which makes them miss the factual portion of the prophecies by greatly, knowing who you are. Okay. Another question that was posed in there was he asked this question in the book also. It says, why does a 1747 English map place the tribe of Judah on the slave coast of Africa? And we always talk about how the Israelites fled into after the abomination and made desolate, abomination of desolation, how they fled into Africa, the same way that Moses did, the same way that who the world ignorantly calls Jesus' parents did with him as a child, to go and blend in with other dark people. All right. It says, why do slave ledgers show slaves being registered with Hebrew names fresh off the ships? All right. Which is a question that many of brothers have brought up. Nagab and Uriah of the Chicago camp, two of the heads in the Chicago camp, have stressed those points many a times for many years now. All right. Next question. It says, why did slaves sing songs in Hebrew and call on Yah or Yahweh properly for help? And they did. So did the Native Americans. All right. Uriah loves to point out this fact that the song Kumbaya, which is that's the Hebrew phrase, and then also how the slaves sing "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot." What would a bunch of slaves know and understand about a chariot? Because they knew about the chariots. All right, they understood that. Okay. Next question was in the book. It says, why did Hamashiach mention slavery of Israel as a sign of the end of the age? It also said in the curses that would be a mark on them, that how you would identify them, which is something that I bring up all the time. All right. I always ask, because it tells you in Deuteronomy 26 around 45, 45th verse that these will be a sign upon them, that how you would know who they were. And in those curses, it talks about the yokes of iron that are cast around their necks. Okay. That whole scenario could also be read in Joel, the 3rd chapter, when it breaks down, the whole slave trade, basically. And once again, that multinational nation, multinational group, organization that orchestrated, planned the slave trade, and then hid their true nationalities. Okay. Next question. It said, are the times of the Gentiles coming to an end? Because that's a part of it, and it is. The fact that the Israelites have woken up to who they are is a major sign. And when you look at all the other signs that are happening, like this one that's on the screen, whether it be self-inflicted by Esau, that order Abkael, light the building on fire, come running in, save everyone, On screen, you're the hero, but behind the scene, you lit the fire. That's been the MO, the modus operatus of the so-called white man for many years. They've been doing that for a very, very long time. And this story, when it first broke, getting back to the story now, and in prophecy, how it matches up in prophecy. I'm going to read a couple scriptures too. You know, it's these things right here. This story right here also, once again, is very, very suspect. And I did not realize the magnitude of it until I saw this map. And how the one lady said, this isn't a pipeline, this is the pipeline. This is like the heart of this industry here in America. You're already at $5 a gallon of gas on the West Coast. Here in Chicago, you know, it's almost $5. It's like $4.50 and above for $4 plus for gas. This right here could drive a lot of things up, because I was waiting on a bus, got tired of waiting, decided I was going to take a Lyft, and a Lyft ride that normally cost me about $12, they were asking $50-some for it. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. But the hyperinflation and all that stuff more than likely will set in this summer for sure. All right. This is a couple scriptures. Let me start with, because this is going to affect so many things. And it's not just going to be with gasoline. All right. It's going to be with water and food as well. All right. You best believe it. So this is the book of, also in Ezra, I think at 2nd Ezra 6:24, if I'm not mistaken. Right, and it says, and at that time, 2nd Ezra 6:24, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. So you can see how the people who don't want to take the medicine, the people who want to take the medicine, the people who don't want to wear the shield, and the people who do wear the shield. All right, versus the people who are red, and versus the people who are blue, and every other different entity in between. They're all at each other's throats. There are corporations who are setting up to let people go and prevent them from traveling or working or buying or selling if they don't take the medicine. And then there are people who are fighting back, who are going to fire individuals who do take the medicine. These people truly are divided. Not to mention that, you know, that World War III has practically begun. Actually, it's begun a long time ago. It's just starting to go live. It was more of a Cold War and currency war for many years. And that's what happens. They start off as currency wars, turn into physical wars. And then we're into the physical portion now. All right. Yeah, but 2nd Ezra 6:24. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So there's going to be a lack of water out here. And water is fuel for the body, just like these vehicles need fuel. All right. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12. Verses 3 and 4, and it reads, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be dark, and the grinders being the workers, man. All right. And it said the men that shall, strong men shall bow themselves. And there's no work out here for the most part. I do believe that the employment rate is well over 50 at this point, 50%. And you have to understand that America has roughly about 330 million people in it. A little over 100 million, I think maybe about 105 million are the working force. The rest of the millions of people are children and elder and senior citizens. So your working force is cut in half. So they're trying to tax and all those things and take care of infrastructure and everything else Plus, you know, all the politicians got to get their piece first before anybody gets anything. So what they're skimming, especially here in Illinois, all right? This is one of the most corrupt states in the whole union when it comes to politicians, all right? So, truth of the matter is, everybody's trying to draw from the same source, and it's not enough there to take care of all those people. Remember, about 105 million people were supporting all the rest of the people, meaning the children and the elderly and the retired. So now there's going to be no money for the retired and the elderly. You're literally going to have to work until you die. Point blank, period. This place is finished. And it says, and those that look out the window and the windows be darkened. People are starting to see no hope. And another thing they're not reporting in the midst of all this pandemic is the drug overdoses and the drug use and the alcohol use, the substance abuses that are going on, and the mental decay of the American citizens collectively. They're not talking about that portion. Verse 4, Ecclesiastes 12:4. And the door shall be shut in the streets, and when the sounds of the grinding is low, he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So people rising up, you know, or have been rising up, get up to go look for jobs, get online and fill out applications or whatever, send in resumes. It's just no work. With the millions of businesses that have shut down and that were killed. And remember, small businesses, in the middle class businesses, were the driving force of employment in America, and that's been cut in half, and it's going to be even worse when this next lockdown comes. So a lot of things are set to happen this summer, and I said it, and I'm gonna keep saying it. And more than likely, you're going to see some serious issues in America like that down in Colombia and what's going on over in different parts of Europe with all their rioting. In Colombia, they're down there killing their protesters. I think it's over 30 have been killed in the last week or so. All those things are coming to America, and they're more than likely going to hit all around the same time. So you're going to have a food shortage, hyperinflation, gas shortage. Prices are going to be ridiculous. The buying power of the dollar. You got the loss of police force members in all the major cities around Babylon. So they're also afraid of what were they saying? The silver safety crisis. Yeah. So buckle up your seatbelt, and like Pastor Har said, I made a comment on the video, and he just said it's time to get that silver. You don't understand that, all right? Because the dollar is gonna be dead, and Bitcoin is a joke, and you know all these guys are dibbling and dabbling and making all this money, so they think, and with the push of a button, it all disappears, and it's all controlled by the very same source that's behind all of this. And for you people in the Bitcoin to think you're so smart and so sharp, that's all gonna turn around and bite you in the ass. It's gonna probably gonna be a lot of suicides or mass shootings behind this Bitcoin thing when it goes belly up. So that could probably happen too. Because if you think that these Edomites here in America are going to start up they want to take control of the digital system. All right, they're not going to allow other entities to be operating outside their jurisdiction. It's not going to happen. So they're going to shut all that stuff down. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, Wa Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala.